Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Archit. I hope you guys are doing great. So I'll be posting a series of LeetCode problems on my YouTube channel where I'll be solving one question every day from the LeetCode problem list. So today I'll be solving the question called to sum, which is the first question of the problem list and also the easiest question on the LeetCode. So without any further ado, let's get started. Yeah, so we're solving this question, right? Called to sum. So let's just go to the question once. Given an array of integers nums and an integer target, return indices of the two numbers such that they add up to the target. You may assume that each input would have exactly one solution and may not use the same element twice. Okay, so basically they've given us some array. Its name is nums, and they've given us some random integer called target. Now what they're asking us to return the two indices whose values sum up to the target. I didn't get me. So let's just go through the example once. Okay, so what is the example one states? So nums equal to 2, 7, 11, 15, target is 9. So that means we have to find the two values, all right? We have to find the two values that sum up to 9. So what are the two values that sum up to 9? It's obviously 2 and 7, right? 7 plus 2, or I mean 2 plus 7 is 9, right? So what should be the output? The output should be the index of 2 and the index of 7, which obviously they have mentioned as 0, comma 1, which is in the form of an array or a list, right? Similarly, an example to the target that they've given is 6. Obviously, the two numbers that add up to 6 is 2 and 4, and the index of 2 and 4 is 1 and 2 respectively, and this is why the output is 1 and 2. Okay. Coming on to the third example, and this example I find it to be very important. Sorry, I'll tell you why. We have an array called 3 and 3. Like they have given us two threes in one array, and target is 6. So the output would be 0 and 1, right? I mean, obviously they'll add up to 6, right? But what should your output be? What should your output be? It should be the indices, right? So the index of first three is 0 and the index of second three is 1. And point to be noted down over here is your answer should be different index. You cannot repeat the index. For example, as you can see here, it's 0, comma 1, not 0, it's comma 0. It's not 1, comma 1, 2. It's 0 and 1. That means you cannot repeat the index. There's one point to be noted, which they have also given in the question, by the way. Exactly one solution. Not use the same element twice, right? So there are a few points that you have to note down because the test cases won't pass, and that may be a problem. All right. Yeah, I've actually already solved this question once. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go on a rough book where I'm gonna explain you guys how things are working, what will be our approach, and what everything would be like. So I'll just take the example one, which they've given it as 2, comma 7, comma 11, comma 15. And target to be achieved is 9. Okay, so it's 9. Haha, it's 9. Okay, I know that. Jokes aside, let's just move on. Okay, so what I'm gonna do. Okay, just give me a few seconds and I need to think how I'm gonna approach. So this is one habit that you guys should keep in mind. Instead of, looking at my videos and just going through the solution, by hearting the solution and then writing it down, that won't make sense. Instead of that, pause my video, think about the algorithm. Do not jump on the coding part. Think about the algorithm, and then you think about the coding part. If you feel your algorithm is effective, then only. If you think your algorithm can be optimized further, or maybe your logic is wrong, then obviously you cannot code, right? Because there's no point. You'll find many errors. Your test cases won't pass. So let's just build up the algorithm. Okay, so what I'm going to do is over here, I'm going to take a variable named I, which I'm going to traverse from the first element of an array, all right, to the last element of the array. Got it? And I'm going to take one more variable called j, which I'm going to traverse it from 7, basically from the next element of I to the last element of the array. This is what I'm going to do. All right. And so, what's the point of traversing the two variables? Now, that's the question you guys will be having right now. I'll tell you why. So, when I is 2, okay, when your I is 2, your j would be 7, right? So 2 plus 7. So what I'm going to do is I'm obviously going to add the two values. I'm going to add the value of I and the current value of j. So now, because j will be your second nested for loop. I mean, it's always going to be next to I, right? So I remains constant as 2 for now till the j finishes its traversal, and the next value of j would be 11, right? I again remains same. and the value of j would be 15. Over here, j has reached its end, and I moves it to its next value, which becomes 7. And obviously, j is the next value of I. This is where the j starts from. So the next new value of j becomes 11, and I remains the same again, and the value of j becomes 15. I'm really sorry for the background disturbances if there are any. Um, right? Yeah. Similarly, when your I becomes 11, j becomes 15, and yeah, this is how the things are going, right? Now, assuming you don't know the sum of these numbers, this is how the algorithm should work ideally. Okay. So now what? Now what we're gonna do is over here, 2 plus 7 becomes your 9, and we found a combination. This is a combination. Now, what is the index of 2? It's 0, right? This is 0, 1, 2, 3. Index of 2 is 0. So I'll just write this as output. And one empty array I'm going to, declare. Now, what we're going to do is, so this is the combination. So the index of 2 is 0. And what's the index of 7? It's 1. 0, comma 1. So this is your output. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to try to implement, right? So it's very important for you to build the algorithm first and then implement it on the code. Yeah. So this makes the process easier to understand. It makes it efficient. It makes it faster, and you don't need to deal with logical errors. See, there may be syntax errors always, but logical errors are horrible. All right. So let's move on to the coding part then. I hope you understood the algorithm, right? If there are any doubts, you can comment it down. I'll always try to respond them, right? Okay. So step one, what we can do? So we are going to first create an empty array where we'll be storing our output indexes, right? So I'm going to name it as output itself, output equal to some random empty array. Okay. I'm going to run a for loop for I range, in range, obviously the last element of the array, len of nums, and now coming to j. J will be your nested for loop. Why? Because we are going to start it from the next element, or the next. Sorry, we're going to start it as. I'm so sorry. We're going to start it from the next element. What I is declared as exactly. Yeah. Yeah. For j in range, I plus 1 comma len nums. So it's going to traverse from the next element of I, which is obviously I plus 1, and it's going to go all the way to the last element of the array, right? So now what? Now what? We have to add those two, right? We have to add and check whether it's the targeted value or not. If it is the target value, it will append those indexes in the output. You know what I mean, right? So if, obviously, if condition is required, if yeah, if nums I plus nums j equal to the target. Yeah, and how do I get this target? It's already mentioned in the given the function. All right, given target is equal to target, and what? Obviously, we're gonna append it, right? I mentioned it earlier. So append output dot append I, and we also have to sorry, we also have to append j, output append j. Okay, I think it's good, right? Oh, obviously, I forgot one. We have to return it to, right? Return our values, return output. Okay, so this is how our code looks like. Let's just go through everything once. Okay, I think it's correct. Let's just run it and check. Great. So as you can see, all the three test cases are passed. So these green dots say that you're passed on the test cases, and it's written accepted, right? So target should be 9 for the first example, 0, comma 1 should be the output, and I mean, that is what expected, and this is what we're getting. So it's correct. Similarly, for case 2, the target is 6, and the output expected is 1 and 2. We are getting 1 and 2. Similarly, for case 3, output is 0, 1, 0, 1, 3, 3, 6. That means our code is, it can run for most of the cases. You can even take your own cases and test your code out, maybe in some other compiler, maybe you get to do it over here also. So obviously you can experiment it according to you. I'm just going to submit this code. It takes a little while. Okay, it's submitted. Yes, it's submitted. Not bad, not bad. Yeah, oh yeah, one more thing. we totally forgot about the time complexity. What would the time complexity be? So the time complexity would be, because it's a nested for loop, right? And there's one for loop, there's a nested for loop. So obviously, the time complexity of the first for loop is O(n), right? Similarly, we have nested for loop, which is again O(n square, basically. The time complexity of a code is O(n square. So this is what it is. So guys, so this is how we solve the question. Obviously, there might be many thousands of methods to solve this question. You can make it complicated. You can do it in an easy way. You can obviously optimize your solutions till certain extent, maybe, and everyone have their own approaches. The other day, I was just having a look to look on other videos where I saw that people were also solving this sum using hash map, and that was pretty good. But I found this solution to be a bit more easier to explain, and also, you know, like if this question is asked in an interview, this would be the approach that come first in your mind, and then later on you can obviously optimize it according to your space complexity, time complexity, whatever it is. I hope this video was informative for you. I hope you learned something. So keep coding. If there are any doubts, you're free to comment it. If there's anything you feel off about the video, you can comment that too. It'll be very helpful for me to improve my further videos. And thank you for watching this video. Please do subscribe to the channel to stay updated. Thank you.